Welcome to another GlowShift Gauges installation video. When you're ready, grab your tools and we'll meet you in the garage. As always, if you have any installation questions, our technical support specialists are here to help. It is imperative that you disconnect the negative side of both batteries before beginning your installation. This ensures the circuit is not complete and no power will be running through your vehicle through the install. Using a center punch, mark the drilling location on the exhaust manifold's turbo flange. To make drilling the manifold easier, you can remove the intake and cover, but this step is optional. Starting with a 1/8 inch drill bit, drill a hole in the exhaust manifold where you marked with the center punch. After your pilot hole is drilled, gradually step up in drill bit size until you reach size R. The reason we recommend installing the EGT probe to the exhaust manifold's turbo flange is that this particular mounting location will give you the most accurate temperature readings. Using other mounting locations can cause the readings to be significantly off. If you do not have a drill and tap set, one can be purchased at glowshift.com or by clicking the image to the right. Once the hole is drilled, use a vacuum and magnet to remove the metal shavings from the inside of your exhaust manifold. Once the metal shavings are removed, slowly tap the hole to 1/8-27 MPT. After you finish tapping the hole, use the vacuum and magnet again to remove the metal shavings that accumulated while tapping. Now that your exhaust manifold is drilled, tapped, and cleaned out, install the EGT probe adapter into the hole and tighten. Once the adapter is installed, slide the EGT probe into the adapter and tighten. After your EGT probe is installed, run the lead power wires along the firewall and secure them using zip ties, being sure to keep them away from any moving parts or direct heat source. Once you're finished running and securing the probe's lead power wires, pass it through your firewall and into your truck's cab. You will need to extend the gauge's wire harness later on in the installation process using 16 or 18 gauge automotive wire. So to make it easier, we'll run those wire extensions into the cab along with the EGT probe. It's a good idea to label or color code each wire extension so you do not get confused when you have to connect them later. Remove the side panel from your dashboard and route the wires you just ran through the firewall to your gauge's mounting location. We'll be mounting the EGT gauge to the A-pillar using GlowShift's 03 to 09 Dodge Ram single gauge A-pillar pod. To install the single pillar gauge pod, carefully remove both stock pillar bolts from your factory A-pillar trim. Now that the bolts are removed, carefully remove the weather stripping from around the trim and gently pull until it comes loose. Mock the gauge pod up on your stock trim and drill a hole behind where you plan on mounting the pod. This will allow you to easily pass the probe and power wires through it and to the back of your gauge. Now you can mount the pod directly to your factory trim using the included screws. Once you're finished mounting the pod to your factory trim, cover the screw heads with the included caps. Once your pod is installed, connect the gauge's power harness to the back of the gauge and slide it into the pod, being sure to run the wire harness through the hole you drilled in the previous step. Now that the gauge is mounted into the pod, you can reinstall your factory trim. Be sure the wire harness that is connected to the back of the gauge is run out of the bottom of your factory trim. Using butt connectors, connect the red, yellow, orange, and black wires from the gauge's wire harness to the corresponding wire extensions you ran earlier in the installation. At this time, you also want to connect the blue and pink wires from the EGT probe's wire harness to the corresponding wires on the gauge's wire harness. Once the wires are all connected and secured, take the black wire and connect it to any ground location. For this installation, we bolted it to the dashboard frame. Once your ground wire is installed, reinstall the side panel on the dashboard and reconnect the negative side of your battery. We're going to power each wire directly from the fuse block using GlowShift's expandable circuit, which can be purchased at glowshift.com or by clicking the image to the right. Using expandable circuits will make powering your gauges much easier and eliminates the lengthy process of having to cut and splice wires. Connect the orange, yellow, and red wire each to an expandable circuit. Using a multimeter, identify your 3 power sources located in the fuse block. The orange wire will connect to your headlight switch. The yellow wire will connect to any constant 12-volt source. And the red wire will connect to any switched 12-volt source. Once you have identified the 3 fuse locations where you'll be installing your expandable circuits, remove the fuses from each location and snap them into each expandable circuit. Now that your gauge is installed and powered, keep your truck running and make sure your gauge and sensor is reading properly and there are no leaks. Be sure to click the subscribe button below to stay up to date with all of our latest videos.